Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Pastors Jen and Pastor Jacob here. And a lot of you have reached out in concern asking why Jen always has a drink in our digital devotions, but I never do. So I want everyone to rest assured that I am staying hydrated during our sheltering in place orders. It's hard to believe that it's April 1st already. Today is the start of a new month, but a month in which we already have our orders that we are going to continue to shelter in place for the rest of this month as a way to continue to try to flatten the curve and protect everyone in our society. And today, as we start this month, we want to look at a really powerful psalm in our Bibles, Psalm 46.
Yeah, so I know you all know this already, but in case anyone had forgotten, the Psalms are a collection of poems and songs in the Bible. Many people think that King David is the one who wrote these songs because he was known to be a musician. But in any case, they span the whole range of human emotions. We have Psalms that are celebratory. We have Psalms that talk about a deep sadness and times of grief. And so no matter what you're going through, I guarantee there's a psalm or a portion of a psalm that will speak exactly into that situation. And so in order to celebrate what the Psalms can do for us in times like this, we wanted to read one together and talk about it. So I'm going to read for us Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of the city. It shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. The nations are in an uproar. The kingdoms totter. God utters God's voice. The earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord. See what desolations God has brought on the earth. God makes wars cease to the end of the earth. God breaks the bow and shatters the spear. God burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
That's really beautiful. Thanks for reading that for us, Jen. You know, the Psalms often follow a little bit of a pattern or a formula. And so there are Psalms that are known as the Lament Psalms. And those Psalms kind of go down into the deepest, darkest part of human emotion. But often the formula they follow is that the end of the Psalm comes back up into a moment of hope. And there are also Psalms, though, in that category of Lament Psalms where they don't come back up. They just kind of stay in the darkness because there's this recognition that sometimes we're not ready for a word of hope, that we just kind of need to sit in the disaster or sit in our grief for a little bit. And a psalm like this would have been read during a time of uncertainty, during a time in which the people didn't necessarily know what was coming next for their nation. And this is actually a psalm that you and I, Jen, we often read at graveside services when we're putting someone's ashes in their final resting place, and we'll share these words with the family. And it's a recognition that even in our hardest or darkest moments, to believe or to hold on to this idea that God is still our refuge and our strength can be really powerful. Even in those moments when we're not ready to hear it, and we don't know if we believe it, and we don't know whether God feels like a refuge and strength, we still say these words, hoping that we will, in that grief, come back up into that moment of hope as well. There's actually an exercise that people can do when they're meditating called Lectio Divina. And this process is where you read the same scripture passage again and again. And each time you hold on to a certain word or phrase as you're listening to it be read. So I'd be curious if on your own, if you go back and read Psalm 46 again, what word stands out to you? What speaks hope into your moment today? Families in different traditions would often read or sing the Psalms at mealtime. So maybe you can read this together today over dinner or the next day when you're with the people in your household, to read it and ask people what word sticks out to them. Because maybe there is a word of hope in the midst of our grief.
I took a class in seminary in which we were invited to journal our way all the way through the Psalms. And so for each psalm, we were invited to spend time with it and then to get out our art supplies, whether that was colored pencils or colored markers or paint, and create a little journal with a little artwork ascribed to each of the Psalms. And so if you're an artsy person, I would invite you to maybe start that practice in these coming days. Pick a psalm a day or go through them in order and meditate on the words. Let something creative be cultivated in you, and we would love to see what you come up with if you decide to take part in that activity.
That's a great idea. So we hope that you enjoy diving into these ancient songs, these ancient poems, and see what sort of word they have for our modern day. Good to be with you today.
See you next time.